Any advice that you would give to younger musicians?
I have a few things. One is like be patient. I think we are constantly looking for shortcuts. Something I love about music is like there's no shortcuts to getting good at music. There's no like secret pill or like fast track or like code that you get. It's like you have to do the thing and like just go like one step at a time. Don't try to do too much at once. Don't be fearful. I think like, we get stuck in should, would, could, why am I not that person? Why am I not this? So like, I think like try not to let fear dictate your decisions. Yeah, those are like the like be patient, don't be fearful. But then just in general, it's like show up on time, like be the most prepared person in the room and be really pleasant to be around because no one wants to be around you if you're going to be like sour because like it's all happened. You show up at a gig and there's one person who like thinks they're too good for it or doesn't feel like being there and they're just like a jerk and you're like you're making the gig lame for all of us. You're making the class lame for all of us. Like leave the classroom, leave the gig. Then like if you're not happy, do something about it. So those are my feelings.
That's great. I was reminded at the conference of like the three things when you're considering a gig. One is like, how much does it pay? Two is the hang good or not, like the people? And then the third is the music. Yeah. And you have to have two of the three.
Totally.
I'm Quentin Angus, and this is Good Company. Each episode I speak to a world-leading artist about their craft and the stories that make them who they are. And today I'm speaking with Molly Miller. She is an in-demand guitar player in LA, playing with people like Jason Mraz. She also leads her own trio, but she is a doctor and a professor and heavily in music education as well. So I'm really excited to speak with her. Molly, thank you so much for taking the time.
Good to be here. Hi, Quentin.
And for our listeners, here's how the show is going to work. I start with some long form questions, and then we close it out with a set of rapid fire questions where we just get the first thing that comes to mind from Molly. And I always like to start with something recent. Cool. So Molly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a recent change in your career is that you being a band leader has become, more to the forefront. You've been recording albums, you've been touring with your trio, and it seems like it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of your career. So I just wanted to ask you what that has been like, and perhaps maybe some of the differences between, you being a band leader versus being a side musician with different artists.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. It's funny. I've had my trio now for 11 years, like properly. And it's shifted, and I guess it really does feel like it's become more a centerpiece or like an essential, not like, oh, I have a trio gig, cool, but like now it is for sure, in all my pockets of touring between Zane and Jason, whatever, and school and whatever else pops up, like it is definitely a priority for me, and it gives me a lot of joy. So yeah, it has become a bigger part of my life, I would say.
What about early Molly? I'm curious, like, did you grow up in California? When did you start playing music? Was it guitar first?
Yeah.
Like, what was your first entry into music?
Yeah, so I started playing guitar when I was 7 years old. I'm the middle of 5 kids. So when we were ages 3 to 11, my parents were like, okay, you're going to be in a family band. The living room is now the band room. And it's like a funny memory. It was kind of just like my older sister already played piano. My older brother was playing bass in school, middle school band or something. And then my little brother, I think, wanted to play the drums or had taken a lesson. And it was like, you're playing guitar. Here's like dad's guitar. And I was like, okay. And I was like, it wasn't like this like the classic story of like a kid begging their parents to get them a guitar. I was just kind of like given my dad's telly. And then I was into it, it was just like, oh, cool. And then I quickly got better than my dad. And that doesn't really speak to how amazing I was as a 7-year-old, but more how my dad wasn't a very good guitar player. And then my childhood, age like 7 to 14, was like daily band practices, and we'd like play talent shows and street fairs and private parties. It was really sort of a magical, fun way to grow up. And I got more and more into the guitar and more serious as I got older. It was like I had these sort of like milestone moments of like 5th grade playing Wipeout at my talent show and being like, oh, I feel cool. Like I didn't know the guitar was cool. And then middle school, I learned Hendrix, and that was like a huge watershed moment for me of like very emotional and intense and cool, and like learning Blink 182 and garage bands with my friends, and like those sorts of things, of like experiences that were mine. And then in high school, I went to Berklee College of Music for a summer camp, and that was the first time it was like only guitar players, and it became so clear to me like that this is what I wanted to do with my life. There was something about that experience of just being around musicians, and everyone who was like just as obsessed with music as I was, where I just it felt so clear to me. Yeah, so then I was like I got more into jazz and more into practicing. Like I hated practicing when I was a kid. I just wanted to play with my friends and like socialize and go to parties. But then when I was like, I don't know, 15, I started practicing a lot of guitar. Yeah, and now it has taken me on this magical journey that I am so grateful for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was your studies. So maybe a good transition into that is that, one of the interesting things about your career is that you play with a lot of diverse artists, and you also, your doctorate was in jazz, right? Is that correct?
Guitar performance is what, I mean, there was like definitely a jazz emphasis, but like my doctorate in musical arts, my DMA was in guitar performance, and I had minors and majors within it, which was like guitar pedagogy, arts leadership, and recording. But yeah, pedagogy, like teaching and learning.
Maybe then instead of specifically asking about jazz, we could talk about just education in general, because it seems like not many people have a doctorate in music, and like guitar players especially, I feel like there's not many guitar players that I meet, unless they're classical guitar players, that have a doctorate. So why was that important to you, and why did you choose that degree of education?
Yeah. So basically, I went to USC and I got an undergraduate degree in like studio jazz guitar. And I really enjoyed my time there. And I was getting more into teaching. I was doing like after school programs and teaching, like privately kids and adults, and doing kind of like jazz and improvisation workshops, rock bands for girls, and like all sorts of different music education spaces. And I was enjoying it. At first I was sort of resistant to it, because I think there's that very false saying of like those who can't do teach. And it kind of haunted me when I was younger, like, oh my God, like if I teach, that means I'm bad at guitar. Like I'll never get these cool gigs. I'll never be that good at guitar if I'm teaching. And then something kind of switched in me when I was 25. I was like, or not even 25, maybe 25, but like in my early 20s, I was just like looking around at my mentors who were amazing teachers and amazing players. I was studying with people like Bruce Foreman, Adam Levy, Patrice Rushen, like all the people over at USC, but like they all have had like serious careers, and they're amazing teachers, amazing educators. So it kind of was like, why am I so wrapped up in my head about this? So I stayed, when I finished my undergrad, I was like 22, I was like pretty resistant, but I decided to stay and get my master's in studio jazz guitar. And it was the same thing happened when I was finishing my master's. I was like sort of reluctant to get a DMA, but I knew I wanted to teach. Like I loved teaching, and I had to like get over this concept that if I wanted to be a serious guitar player, I couldn't teach. And I did during that time in grad school. I was like, you know what? I'm a good guitar player and I love teaching, and like these two things can exist. And I'm so grateful. So I stayed, I was a TA at USC. I got my undergrad, my master's, and my doctorate all in guitar with a jazz emphasis. And now I teach there. But I feel so grateful. It gave me, I learned a ton. I was also working a lot outside of school while I was getting my degrees. I was teaching outside of school. And I was gigging a ton. I started touring and doing sessions, playing with artists, just like that grind, wedding gigs early on, like corporate gigs, all sorts of things. So I was like working. I felt like I was living this double life. I was getting my degrees, teaching on campus, and then like gigging around town, doing some other teaching things around town, started to tour, play with artists, like these two lives. And I sort of realized they could exist, even though I was still kind of sorting out how to make it all work, and how what to present, like almost how to present myself, because I was scared if people knew I was getting my doctorate, they wouldn't want to hire me for gigs. Um, yeah, and I needed to also do,
Interesting.
yeah, like, but then like, it's sort of like I stopped trying to pretend to be anyone else. And I think that's like, it also is so interesting how I feel um, like your internal struggles that have nothing to do with music or nothing to do with music are so reflective in your art. Because like when I finally
Hmm.
was just like, you know what, I am me, I play guitar, I love guitar, and I'm a teacher, I love like working
Hmm.
in the academic space. And I think I got so much better at guitar when I sort of resolved that internal conflict. My like playing became more truthful and representative of me as well.
I love that. Awesome. So one thing that I was really curious to ask you about, it's a bit of a long question, so let me explain like the context
Okay.
of it first. So I went to SUNY Purchase, and one of the guitar players I studied with was John Abercrombie.
Cool.
And I remember him saying to me how saturated the music scene is with good players like now. That was 15 years ago. But he said that when he went to Berkeley, one of the reasons he went there was because it was difficult to find the information, right? You would have to wait for a famous artist to be touring in the particular city you lived in, or be lucky enough to have proximity to a good teacher. But it was difficult to get the information to become more proficient on your instrument. And fast forward to today, it's incredibly easy to get very organized, very good information for incredibly cheap. So there are things like, Pickup Music, which you've done things for, and plenty of other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, like, how do you see the role of tertiary education, like college in the present day? And just a little bit more context. Before you answer, right now we're focusing a lot on internships, basically anything that discerns us from the information. So rather than us being, here is the information, we're like, oh, let's help people get a job. Let's develop partnerships with local institutions so that we can have internships. And obviously in-person playing will never be replaced, right? Like having combos or having that one-on-one mentorship where you actually get to be in the room with a musician, like you're talking about your experience in California with a successful musician. How do you think education will evolve, and what do you think the role of like college will be as we continue moving forward?
You know, I'm like trying to decide how to answer this because, yeah, it's changing. I think we can't pretend that anything else is happening. You and I both work in
Hmm.
the academic space, and we see globally like numbers are going down and things are shifting. And I don't really think that's
Hmm.
exactly a bad thing. I think, we kind of were a part of this like college bubble era where everyone felt like they needed to go to college. And I just don't think that's true. Obviously, like for me, it was
Hmm.
great. But I think for a lot of people, they go to various colleges and they're $200,000 in debt. And that's really hard. Um, I think what you can get at a really great college and university or is not possible to get at like online. I think it kind of like goes down to what these people are looking for and what their purpose is. And I think that should be the question as people are going to college, which I think is a good question. Like, why are you going to college and what are you trying to get out of it? Um,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
I'm partial. I think like what we do at USC is amazing. I think that the program's great and you get a lot of things that you can't get just online, and playing, connections, like knowledge, learning. Like I think that it's a really great program. But I also think in general, like a lot of people go to school and they don't know why they're going exactly, or they're not taking it seriously. Yeah, so I think it's like this big, like, like it's gonna change, and it is changing. And I think while like I think a lot of colleges are freaking out, I think it's good. Like everyone shouldn't go to college, and it's like it's a very bloated system. Um, but I think it's an essential
Totally.
system for a lot. Like it just like I think that we have to like sift through and sort out like it's naturally happening. Because I do think, whether it's like pickup music or some other online site, you can get a lot out of it. And I think they do a really great job. But also there's information overload. Like it happens with all of us. I mean, whether it's for me looking for like what's the best like workout or whatever, when you go online and there's just too much information
Yep.
and it's actually not helpful. Like it's better to like find someone to work with and go and work with them in person, and they like see your body and adjust your body and like tell you what works for you. And the same thing with music. I think like you can't beat working with humans, playing music with humans. There's so many like internet guitar players or internet learners that like they'll never get beyond this certain hump, because there's an essential aspect to like playing with others when you're trying to learn, like be a musician. And I see it all the time with people who don't know how to play with others, or whether they get hired on a big gig because you think they can play because of online stuff, or people who have only learned in their bedroom and then they show up to a situation and they like don't know how to play with people. And that's like to
Yeah.
me like really like a huge magical part of music is like the community aspect of it, the realness of it, the response to it, the communication that happens live. And yeah, so that essentialness is not possible on these damn devices. Like they can only take us so far.
Yep. Awesome. So I wanted to ask about career opportunities and where they have come from. So some people, like for example, I spoke to Cecil Alexander last month, and he literally was like, 99.9% of my opportunities have come from social media. But so I'm curious with you, you've done lots of diverse things. Like you did a TED talk, you've done promotional things for guitar companies, you've done educational things like for Till and Pickup. Also you teach at university. Like have all of these things come from like one specific place, or have they, where have your career opportunities come from?
Everything is my community. I mean, even like the internet stuff, like Sam from Pickup reached out to me on Instagram, but he was like, oh, hey, like, I think like a couple mutual friends had recommended me. Or like, I'm playing for Zayn Malik. I'm like, touring with him right now. And the musical director, sure, like he checked out my Instagram, but also like we had mutual friends. And playing for Jason Mraz, teaching at USC, doing Till, like everything has gone down to like actually recommendations and community. And then I feel like my online stuff is my business card. Like instead of going to my LinkedIn or my resume, they just go online and look at my Instagram or my YouTube, my website, and see like, oh, she can play guitar, or I like her vibe, she seems cool, okay. And then like, but they're going there maybe because it popped up, or they'll always get other people to be like, yeah, she's cool. But it's so funny actually. I have like, now I'm thinking actually, there's this woman who I love playing with. Her name's Lily Mae Harrington. She's an awesome artist and now become a good friend. But she literally, I guess it's like funny. She like typed into Google like female guitar player Los Angeles, and I came up. But like we have so many mutual friends. So like I guess like it's true. Like the internet is essential. Is a part of it. But I actually think 99.9% is community, with like the internet then supporting it.
Got it. So that's a good transition, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. I was just at a conference, the Jazz Education Network conference this year. It was in New Orleans, and there is more representation and people talking about women in jazz. So like one small example, Roxy Koss, an amazing saxophone player, she's the director of jazz at Stony Brook, and has taught at Juilliard, et cetera, and one of her big missions is not necessarily 50-50 gender equity in jazz, but just highlighting that. So for example, at Gen there were all of these all male bands, and there's very little diversity in general, and she's focused on gender specifically. But I wanted to ask you, like, how Like, has that played a role in your career? Have there been barriers that you've noticed? Has that played a role in your career?
I mean, it for sure has played a role, but the thing is, like, I only know my experience. Like, I know sometimes I
Okay.
get frustrated when someone walks up to me and is like, "You're the acoustic guitar player. That's your boyfriend guitar you're holding," or like whatever. Like all those like sort of comments and assumptions, and I'm
Yep.
sure it plays into like my ego of feeling like I need to prove myself. But like, I only know my experience, and like, you know, like USC, I don't like feel being a woman there. Like, I don't like it's present, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I was treated really well there. All the faculty feel like uncles to me, you know, like they really feel like I'm close with them. My peers, there's been some things that are like inappropriate or frustrating, but like, I only know my experience, one, and I feel really grateful for it. And like, just as I think it can be frustrating to be like, oh, look at this like all male band, like now I get called sometimes because they're looking for a female this or a female that, and I have gotten a lot of calls for that. And it's funny, I actually get I don't like when someone's like, hey, we're looking for a woman, can you do this thing because you're, and I'm like, I think sometimes I used to get more frustrated where I'm like, no, call me because you like my guitar playing. And now I'm like, they like my guitar playing, and you know, I'm a woman, you know, and that like is what they're looking for, and that's just the reality of the world. But I want to be called because of like not how I look, but like how I sound, and obviously maybe people like to be around me. So it's a really complex, complicated answer, and I think I could. It's like a glass half full, glass half empty thing. It's like, what story do you want to tell? And what reality do you want to live in? And for me, like, I don't want to live in a world where I'm like, I got called for this because I'm a woman. I didn't get called for this because I'm a woman. Why didn't, you know, I'm just like, I got called for things because I'm from Los Angeles, because I have a doctorate, because I like happened to go to this random show this night and someone saw me and they thought of me. And like, I just don't like to live in a reality where I'm frustrated by things that didn't happen or should have happened or could have because of external factors.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I could sit here and tell you stories that have pissed me off where I've been like treated really poorly or been sexualized, or but like also it's like that's not the things I think about, and those things rarely keep me up at night. Like mostly I'm grateful for my career and grateful for the people that are in it, because I'm surrounded by people that make me feel good. Yeah, and like I belong.
For time, I think I'm gonna move on to the rapid fire. For the rapid questions, you can just say a one-word answer, or like a slightly longer answer, pending the question, and just the first thing that comes to mind.
Cool.
All right, here is the first one. Who's your favorite improviser?
Probably Julian Lage. Maybe George Benson. Maybe Oscar Peterson or I don't know, Thelonious Monk. But like, yeah, those are, I have a lot. Like, it's like, yeah.
What about non-jazz?
J.J. Cale.
Okay.
I love, or like Hendrix.
Okay. And what about composing? Who's a favorite composer, or maybe like top three?
Songs that melt me. Like, it's like classically, I feel like Dylan for me was a big one. Adrienne Lenker, she comes to mind. Like, I love Big Thief. Those songs to me can melt me sometimes.
I love that. All right. Would you prefer to play in a stadium or a small club?
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes people are like, "Oh God, what's it like?" It actually, I just want to play music that means something to me, because sometimes the stadiums are not satisfying, and sometimes the stadiums are like so filling, like whatever fills me up. I actually just want to play music in a meaningful way.
Okay. Love it. Let's say you're pulling up to a jam session. Doesn't have to be a jazz jam session. You're pulling up to a jam session.
God, something I never do.
What song are you? Yeah. What song? What song are you calling? Or what's like a favorite song of yours that you play right now, like a cover song?
Okay, I mean, yeah. Okay, so two answers. One is like if I'm going like Sunny Side of the Street has always been this like classic like standard that I play. I just like love it. I love 1 to 3 dominant.
Okay.
and that meaning of the song. But then also I get into pop tunes and have so much fun playing them. I've been playing Wild World, Cat Stevens, another great composer, or Brian Wilson, Surfer Girl,
Oh,
another great composer. Okay, yeah, these
Nice.
are
I
not
love
one
Wild
word
World.
answers. I'm sorry, I'm chatty.
Totally fine. So if you were in a different line of work, right? Not in the music industry, what career would you have?
It doesn't someone asked me this the other day and I was like no, I don't know. They were like, wouldn't you want to like open a coffee shop? I'm like, definitely not. They're like, what about, I was like, no. Like I used to say like therapist or something, psychiatrist, and I'm like, hell no. So no, I have no idea. Like truly no idea what I could do. I had one internship on like the industry side of things and I
Uh-huh.
hated it with every grain in my body. Like no, I don't know. My like being a musician, it's not like a job. It's like a lifestyle. So it's just like okay, like move to a different country and like change your name and become a different person. What would you do? You're just like, I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
I I I love that answer because in a music business class I teach, we often talk about why a career in music, and one of the appropriate answers is because there is no other option, right? You couldn't possibly be anything else, and that's a good reason to go into it. And that question lines up with that. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna finish with two questions, and these you can be longer, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
So, do you have any advice that you would give to younger musicians coming up now? Like, what would you say, or what would you say to a younger Molly to
Yeah.
inspire her?
I have a few things. One is like be patient. I think we are constantly looking for shortcuts and maybe shortcakes, shortcuts. But like that is something I was talking about this yesterday with someone. That's like something I love about music is like there's no shortcuts to getting good at music. Like to becoming a proficient musician, you can't like there's no like secret pill or like fast track or like code that you get. It's like you have to do the thing and like um just go like one step at a time. Don't try to do too much at once. Yeah, like enjoy the process. Don't be fearful. I think like, we get stuck in should, would, could, why am I not that person? Why am I not this? So like I think like try not to let fear dictate your decisions and make you feel smaller than you are. Yeah, those are like the like be patient, don't be fearful, but then just in general, it's like show up on time, like be the most prepared person in the room and be really pleasant to be around because no one wants to be around you if you're going to be like sour because like it's all happened. You show up at a gig and there's one person who like thinks they're too good for it or doesn't feel like being there and they're just like a jerk and you're like you're making the gig lame for all of us. You're making the class lame for all of us. Like leave the classroom, leave the gig. Then like if you're not happy, do something about it. So those are my feelings.
That's great. I was reminded at the conference of like the three things when you're considering a gig. One is like how much does it pay? Two is the hang good or not, like the people, and then the third is the music.
Yeah.
And you have to have two of the three
Totally.
in order to take one of the gigs.
Or it's a
Great.
milkshake
So
gig.
then finally, yes, correct. So then finally, is there anything that the listeners should be looking out for you? Like, is there a single being released or like an album, or it looks like you're going to Brazil? Like what should people be looking out for in the near future? with you?
Everything. Follow me on Instagram and my mailing list. But I am going to Brazil with the trio. We're going to do a couple dates down there because I'm doing a tour with Mraz, Jason Mraz, and we got a couple trio shows down there. We just actually made our record like a week ago. We were in the studio. And so the record will come out, but like, you know how it goes, probably not for a year, but in the meantime, I will be putting out some live videos. We just did a handful of live videos that we're putting out. But there's going to be a record that comes out. I don't know if it's going to be fall 2026 or spring 2027. Hello, it just takes time. And then I'm going to be doing some till classes through pickup, so keep an eye out for that. But I just say like, yeah, I'm always doing things. I'm always like doing tours. I'm always performing. I'm always teaching. And so just stay in touch and reach out. I'm very, I respond. I'm nice, I think.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Molly. So that brings us to an end. This has been Good Company. I'm Quentin Angus. We spoke with Molly Miller. I really enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you next time.
Thanks, Quentin.